gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. We gon' be alright. Yeah, we gon' be alright. We out there for the Love of the Funk rally. So we come together to just talk, bring awareness, have a good time at the same time. So. For the Love of the Funk rally has begun. It's Kinfolk D-Ray, man.
Today we are having, for the Love of the Funk, Stop the Violence Peace Rally that was birthed out of all of the recent violence we've had in the city.
We got Johnny Judah bringing some good music for us.
So we wanted to come together and do something for the youth and for the community. And so we put out a clarion call to all of the community, to the African-American business owners, to the African-American entrepreneurs, to the pastors and the churches in the community. And man, there's been an overwhelming wave of support.
Just started. That's my family up there.
In order to get the kids here, we wanted to have something that they were interested in. Every time I go to Career Day at the elementary schools in Fort Worth ISD and in South Dallas, all the kids want to be rappers. So today we got a free raffle for 8 hours of free studio time. Everybody, the young people, they love to wear Jordans. So we're raffling off 3 pairs of Air Jordans. We're also, because our fundraising went so well, we're also raffling off a free PS4. So we're doing all those things to get the kids here.
We just come to say enough is enough. For the love of our city, we come together to put together solutions and resolutions so that we can move this city forward. All right? Amen.
So what we're trying to do is we're trying to impact the kids who are on the edge, who are on the fringe, who are thinking about joining gangs or potentially in gangs and thinking about doing something that they can end up regretting for the rest of their lives. We want them to know that there's a better way to take the clip out your gun, to put your sack down and reconsider your hustle. There's more to life than your neighborhood.
Hey guys, I'm so happy to be here and invited by Pastor Dukes. I count it as an honor to speak to you all. As he said, I am here as a counselor.
So that's kind of what we're wanting to do. We want to inspire the youth.
That begins to impact their behavior, and that's what we're seeing at school. We're seeing our kids act out in ways we didn't as children. We're noticing it early on in pre-K.
And this whole movement, we started planning this the day after Memorial Day, so we didn't have a whole lot of runway to put this together, but God really came in and just made an awesome show of support, and it stirred up something in our communities. The response on social media has been amazing, and we're going to continue. We're going to get some momentum going, and we're going to continue doing this and doing things in the community, because one of the things that I learned as I talked to some of the young men in the community who are in gangs or who are no longer in gangs, when I was trying to plan this so that we could get them here, right? Because those are the people we want to impact as well. One of the things that they said is, this isn't your generation. This isn't 1990. We had the working connection in 1990 that gave everybody jobs. So you could go out and make money for your school clothes and whatnot. They don't have that anymore. And the gyms, like the community center we're at today, when I grew up in 1990, we were at the gym. We were gym rats. And so there was free play every day. The community centers don't do that anymore. Now they got Zumba, they got volleyball, they got line dancing. And so free play for basketball is maybe 1 to 2 days a week. And so what's happening is these kids, they're being ostracized and they're being pushed to time idleness. There's nothing for them to do in their communities. And so as a result, with this Texas heat, nothing to do, being surrounded by people with, maybe made some bad choices or who are not very ambitious in life and who've settled, it causes people to make poor choices. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to impact that, and we're trying to show the children that there's another way, there's a better way. You don't have to do what your uncle did, what your big brother did. You have the potential to be whatever it is you want to be, but you got to make good choices, because with choices come consequences.
I have a student right now that's in pre-K going to kinder. He witnessed his father being murdered. His brother, His brother's father was the one who murdered his father. So, in pre-K, we're already noticing the traumatic effect of how it's taking hold of his mind. He's not able to sit still in class. He's not able to do what the teachers tell him to. He's just on high alert all the time, a ball of energy times 10. Then we have the other side of that, his brother, who's in the second grade, who's angry. And when I say angry, to the point of we have to physically restrain this child numerous of times during the school day. So that's what it looks like when our children are experiencing violence, domestic violence, gun violence, divorce, single-parent homes. All of that is having a negative effect on our children.
One of the things that I learned also in the conversations with the former gang members and the gang leaders that I talked to in preparation for this is even in 1990 when the gang violence had hit, Fort Worth like an epidemic, there was structure, there was order, and the young people who were in the gangs then, they listened to the leader. Whereas now the gang culture is so different. I mean, the gangs are fluid, right? There is no one leader, right? And so because everybody wants to be the man or everybody wants to be in charge, nobody wants to be rebuked or told what to do, you have this element and these people who are part of the same organization or the same gang or culture where nobody really wants to listen to anybody.
So what is the solution? The solution is parents. The solution is the family structure. The solution is if both parents can't be in the home, we still need to be able to get along for the betterment of our child.
And as a result, the young people, the other difference is in 1990, you had these quote-unquote OGs or these elders that they would listen to. Nowadays, they don't see anybody as an OG or as an elder. So therefore, you can't tell them anything. You can't rein them in. You can't say, man, don't do that. I've done that. And in their minds, your story ain't my story. So you might have been a part of the Crips, you might have been a part of the Bloods, you might have been a part of the Vice Lords or whatever, gangster disciples back then, but that was then, this is now. You don't know nothing about this old man. So that's missing.
The truth of the matter is we have to get to a place in our community where we realize that it is ultimately our responsibility to affect what happens in our community. Too many times we've been guilty of looking outside of our community for solutions and looking outside of our community for resources and all of these various things instead of looking and pulling from within to be able to solve the issues that plague us. And so I want to again say, Pastor Dukes, how grateful I am, and I know we all are, for you and for your vision and for bringing this whole thing together in less than 2 weeks. This is awesome to have been able to bring this together in less than 2 weeks. Let me start by saying that, again, I appreciate the perspective of Pastor Dukes of saying that this is not going to be a situation where we continuously talk about what the problem is. Because all of us that have grown up in this community or in like communities, we understand what the problems are.
There's a reverence that used to be there for elders in our community that isn't anymore.
So what do you think it's going to take?
I think it's going to take a partnership between the church, between City Hall, and between our communities. Like I said earlier, we can't be afraid of our children. And so the elders and the men in our community, we got to stand up and we got to start telling Johnny to pull his pants up. We got to start telling Johnny, man, you got to go to school. You got to focus on your education. You got to don't do what I did, And I think it's going to really take us listening to them. Because for so long, even back when I was growing up, we talked at them, right? But we never talked to them. And so they want to be heard. They want to be heard.
And part of the problem that we have, just as human beings, is that we spend 80% of our time talking about the problem, and only about 20% of our time trying to fix it. But what would happen if we chose to inverse that? And understand in 20% of our time what the problem is, but we spend the other 80% of our time trying to fix it, coming up with solutions. I think we can really change what's happening in our community, and we can really set our community on a trajectory of success that we've never experienced before. But we got to change the way that we look at the problem. We got to change how much time we spend talking about the problem.
And today's rally, what what would you like to come out of today's rally?
Today's rally, at today's rally, if we can have one kid who came here today who was a member of a gang to put their flag down, to walk away from gang life, or if we can have one individual who came here today who was thinking about joining the gang, who say, you know what, I heard that dude from Chicago, Lawrence McCall, and his story really blew my mind, and now I can see bigger, I can see further. One of the things that happened to me recently is I live in East Fort Worth, and I was going up, I think it's Bridgewood, and what happens is when you're going up Bridgewood, a lot of times we look like straight ahead, what's in front of us, and I never noticed this, but at Bridgewood, and I think it's, I can't remember what the cross street is, but as you're coming up the hill, if you look up, you can see as far as the eye can, I mean, it's clear. I mean, it's a skyline that I never noticed before because I was always doing this. And what happens in our community so many times is we have so many young people who are doing this. And they're thinking that this is all I can do, this is all I'm gonna ever be. But if we can get them today to look up and see that life is bigger than your block, man. It's bigger than your community. It's bigger than your set. It's bigger than your gang. If we can do that, man, I think it would have been a success.
When we talk about solutions, I think we have to begin to think about what do we need to put in place, what type things we need to have so that we can eradicate the issues that we have. The first thing, if I can, I'll just say one of the things that I believe that our community needs is hope. I'm a firm believer that a hopeless man is a dangerous man. And the reason that we have such a devaluing of human life in our community is because we don't have hope for our own lives. We've got to do something to where our young men and women understand that there is something beyond where you are right now.
Turn up everything else, let's turn up for God a little bit.
And whether you choose to actually live in the community or not, be active in the community. So not only do we need hope, but we need action.
Work your way till you get what's yours, get your real life goods, and get on board.
I see alphas here, I see community frontline here, I see so many individuals, but we gotta make sure that we're active in our communities. So that again, our kids have something beyond what they see right now to look forward to. We also need accountability.
This is the OG panel. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about themselves.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Pastor Ronald Walker. My name is Pastor Torrey Franklin.
Good afternoon. My name is Pastor McIntosh.
Good afternoon. My name is Pastor Eugene Peterson.
Last but not least, I already thank God for all these other pastors that are here, men of God that are here. My name is Bishop Jeffrey L. Hodge.
If the you right now could talk to the you back then, what would you say? Most important thing.
I would say it's not working.
I would say stay focused on the purpose and plan of God.
I would say you haven't seen you yet. You haven't seen all of who you're going to be yet. You can only see this moment in time, but there's a whole lot more in you that you haven't realized yet.
I would have said to myself to be more serious about my education. Because I found out something that they can take a lot of things from you. We can tell every kid, like you said, want to be a rapper, want to play sports, this and that, but they can't take what's in your mind, though. Like once, I'm in college right now because I understand something, and knowledge is power, though. So I would really tell myself to stay more serious about my education.
I thought I was gonna die young, so I would say slow down. Slow down. You ain't going nowhere. Slow down.
That's so powerful. I would tell myself, stay with God. Stay with God. At a young age, I grew up knowing God by my grandmother, but I left the principles that I was taught. But if I would have stayed with God and the principle, I wouldn't have went through that. So stay with God.
So we have to be able to stand in the gap because we know that there's fatherless children on our street and we don't even say nothing to them. The Honorable Louis Farrakhan told me, you can't just be a father to yours. You got to be a father to the fatherless in that community. So you can't just be a father to yours. You got to work with those in the community that you know ain't got no father. So we have to really pay attention. But understand, y'all, environment overrides parenting, man. And we got a lot of work to do.
I grew up with both parents. I grew up with my father, my mother. So my story is a little different than yours. But I decided to do my wrong after I left my home. I'm a leader by nature. I'm a leader by nature. So I was the one that really set the trend for what was going on. You know, as an athlete, I've been running the streets. I've been a baller since a juvie. My role model was in my home. My mom and my daddy was my role model. They was educated. You know, there's no blueprint. There's no book to being a parent. So these young people, I hope you're listening. Young people, I hope you're listening. There's no blueprint to be a parent.
We've got DTLR, they've donated $150 gift cards. You can go and get your pair of Jordans, and if they don't have it on the wall, you can order it, right? The winner is 743079. All right.
Well, she thinks she's hot stuff now.
All right, so we are in a raffle for studio time.
Okay, what the last?
And I got my own studio, but I want one of the little kids to win it. But we're gonna have a good time raffling.
Okay, here they come.
Gonna see what it do.
All right, this is the last drawing and we gotta get out of here. Please go to the kitchen and get your food to go.
Here we go.
This is for the 8 hours of free studio time.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with free.
The lucky winner is 743157.